Chicago! Welcome into the Chicago Sports Podcast presented by Coors Light. What's up, everyone? I am Kevin Kaduk, head of content at CHGO. To my left is Mario Tirabassi. To his left is Jake Flannigan.
Hey.
And behind the board is Lawrence Benedetto.
What's up?
What's going on, Lawrence?
Oh, just the Thursday afternoon, just hanging out.
A little brisk. I know we usually talk about the weather.
Just talk about
I said
weather.
I said winter was
Dave.
over at the top of last.
Whoops.
I said winter was over at the end of at the start of last Thursday's show.
Yeah, that was dumb.
Lawrence yelled at me. Then Friday night, I'm walking out of Costco into a blizzard, and I sent him a picture. I said, "You were right."
Yep.
Yeah. Always listen to Lawrence.
Yeah. Well, as
Especially
long as,
doing his Tom Skilling impression.
Yeah, that was pretty good. You did that on our show. What was that, Tuesday?
Well, I'm retired now, and I could just look at the weather and not give a shit anymore.
Yeah. You think he does that? You
Yeah.
think he just sees the weather report and is like accepts it, doesn't do his own research?
Actually, no, I think he's definitely doing his own research still.
I thought he was retiring. He's going on the Terry Hemmert plan.
Yeah.
It's like I see Terry Hemmert more now than when she was actually a full-time member of 93.1.
Okay. You know how like
WFFT.
retired people go to like McDonald's for breakfast or like a coffee place?
Oh, that's
or
my
whatever?
dream.
Can you imagine? Like, could you imagine if you're lucky enough to be in the one that's near Tom Skilling's house?
I'd love
like,
that.
I wonder what the weather's gonna be like. He literally is like the best person to join your group.
Yeah.
For like a morning breakfast club kind of
He'd
thing.
be perfect.
Yeah.
This has got to still be the best place for a weatherman to live because you get such a mix of everything, right?
Yeah.
You get the heat, you get
You get extreme summers, extreme winters, and once in a while a tornado touches down.
tornadoes on the fringes, but you
same
don't have
week.
to worry about
In the same day. Yeah.
same week for sure.
Yeah.
This week's Taking Care of Business Award goes to the Chicago Blackhawks. The reason I want to give the Chicago Blackhawks the
Really?
Taking Care of Business Award is
It's
because,
because Mario's here.
That surprises me,
His
but okay.
response to that.
all four of us were out there on Sunday for the Chris Chelios number retirement ceremony, and I think it was such a great example of how well the Blackhawks do those things.
Oh yeah, yeah. There is nothing they do better than big events, big ceremonies. Like it is one of the best things that they do as an organization. And yeah, Jesus, the Chelios night was awesome. As someone who like grew up in the '90s, like that was like the best time ever being a kid in the '90s. They encapsulated that, and then the '90s Blackhawks, the entire night, the video production, all of that, Chelios and all his former teammates, like it was incredible.
It's such a stark contrast to what the Bulls did for their Ring of Honor ceremony,
Yeah,
which
that
has
didn't
turned
go
out
so
to
well.
be. And I don't know exactly what the difference is. I think some of the differences is just the star power the Blackhawks have. I mean, the breadth of it is, really the Blackhawks have so many defined periods of success, more than probably, the White Sox have the World Series team. The Cubs have, probably a few more, different eras. The Blackhawks, they had the 60s. Now, unfortunately, most of those guys are past and gone. But you've got the 80s, which was, Savard and Doug Wilson and LC Cord. They could never beat the Oilers, but that was still
Right.
a very fond time. Then you had the early 90s, which is when, people my age fell in love with them.
Yeah.
Then you have the championship era. So that's three really defined eras, and they're able to pull from that. I'm walking into the building, and as I'm walking down into the atrium, the panel is over, and walking by me is Jeremy Roenick, Eddie Belfour, Gary Suter, Tony Monte. I was like, I'm 14 years old again.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool for you guys who are like, diehard Blackhawks fans and big hockey fans. As more of a casual fan, it was still really cool. And I think I probably drank about as much as Jeremy Roenick did on Sunday. I had a lot. And because I went to the Bulls takeover, a few weeks earlier, and I had one beer, but I had just about the same amount of fun at both. It was really cool. Yeah. But Chelios is someone who, even as a casual hockey fan growing up, like you know what he brought to the table. Mm-hmm. And one of my first hockey games I went to was the Winter Classic at Wrigley Field, which Chelios played in for the Red Wings. And I wore my little Winter Classic hat that day. So it was kind of cool to see. And just I could tell how much it meant for you and like Law, Mario, Jay, Greg, and everyone there that had really watched a ton of Chelios Blackhawks hockey when they were younger. And it was cool. And I loved everything else about that day. And I did not like how it ended, as you could probably tell, because, that's when I came into becoming a Blackhawks fan was, 2009, 10. And then that, I'm one of the bandwagon fans. One
of the things I saw about the Super Bowl, people were tweeting, the best thing about getting old is having the Super Bowl halftime show catered towards your demographic. Yeah. And that's how I felt with seeing Chelios' number. Yeah. And they're putting the Banner, our neighbor here in the office, they do such a great job with their video production. They did this 90s thing.
No, they did. That wasn't them.
That wasn't them?
I just talked. No, it was no. Oh. The guy who did it is,
whoever did it is awesome.
Yeah, that video is amazing.
Well, you were like putting out, a lot of like Ric Flair woos. I know you were too. I said, this is kind of like porn for someone that was like that nostalgic about the 90s.
Yeah, it was just a really great representation of like the cultural impact of like that era. And how the Blackhawks, impacted that time, especially guys like Chelios and Roenick. Like, Jay and Greg talk about it all the time. Like, those are the guys that like got them to be hockey fans because of how cool it was to see them play and everything. And NHL '94 and all that. Like, that was represented too. Like the cultural impact of that.
Banner did that.
Was incredible.
Banner did the NHL '94 video with the Hawks guys.
That was a good one
too.
That was
great.
That was a good one too. Yeah.
So not only do they show all this hockey stuff and get you going there, then between the second and third period, they bring out Cindy Crawford and she wins shoot the puck.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of weird fever dream is this? Like,
so much pressure on Eddie Vedder too. He was like, you could see the reaction. He was so happy for her, and then he was like, "Oh my God,
he did okay." Theo Epstein did not.
He did not.
Theo Epstein should.
Eddie got to kiss Cindy Crawford. Like he wins.
Yeah.
John McEnroe was there. Johnny Drama was there.
Johnny Drama.
It was such an interesting.
Johnny Drama was there.
Yeah, he was.
Kevin Dillon was there.
What? Where?
He was in the background of a photo that a diehard fan.
And there was there was so many famous people there. There was people you didn't even hear were there.
Right. Like when they showed Messier and Ty Domi sitting next to him, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's Ty Domi. And Mario's like, that's Ty Domi. I'm like, I knew it.
Well, first they showed Gretzky and just said Gretzky. And it was like, wait, Mark Messier is right next to him. And then like about 2 minutes later, they showed Messier, and it was clear that Gretzky had been giving Messier shit that they didn't put Messier's name on the board. So.
No, it was great, and you knew Chelios was going to have just an incredible line. He knows everybody.
He's got to do a podcast. We need to give him that platform.
He's really good.
Hey,
one thing you did ask you, like, what one person would you want to get a photo with here, right, tonight? And do you remember what I said to you? Chelios' mom.
Oh, that's
and
right.
I said because I felt like for her that day was everything. Like she was came out in the car. Like later she was on stage while they were doing music. Like she was having the night of her life. And I mean, really, that night in Chelios' success, you could tell how much family and how thankful he was for that. That like he could give her that while she's still alive and with us and doing well.
I loved when he brought up the Cheli's Chili Bar part of it because his family did really. Operate that restaurant. When you ordered chili, she was the one bringing it to your table.
Right.
Like that's not. Cool. That's kind of how it worked.
It wasn't just I'm going to put my name on this, and like they were invested in it.
Yeah,
that was never happen again.
You used to be able to go there, and the guys would party in the back after.
It was right here. It was right here across the alleyway.
We're 1143. They were 1137 Madison.
It was right now. What bar is it now?
It's not. I don't think it's a bar.
I think it's a pet store.
I
think
unless it got.
Oh, it's not the one we did the Bulls takeover.
It's right next to Third Rail Tavern.
If you go to the alley though, you do a double knock on the back door. They'll give you a little cup of chili. So I don't know if
still there.
It's made of dog food.
It may be, but it's exactly.
Got to check the quality. of that
my
chili.
uncle actually yesterday was like, we went to Cheli's Chili, right? And I'm like, and I have no recollection of it, but I must have before I game.
It's probably there maybe 2 or 3 times, and
yeah.
Chelios is like now he's just like this weird kind of kindly old partying grandfather.
Yeah.
And he was actually I think the first professional athlete that I ever interviewed.
Really?
He went to the University of Wisconsin. I was a sophomore there. I was writing for the paper We had to do these big like registration issues, like they were thicker, and everyone would pick them up when they register for classes. So I wanted to do a big feature, and I came down here and got a press pass, and I talked to Chelios. I was completely terrified, and it was probably a terrible article, but went down to the United Center, talked to Chelios about being at Wisconsin, his days at the college club. Bob Probert came out in just a jock strap. I was completely terrified because
Nice.
he
And
just
intrigued.
but yeah, I just and then of course just watching him play. I mean, so many games we just destroy people, and
It's crazy.
I loved Gretzky's quote. You were one of the people I was afraid of.
Yeah.
One of the few people I was afraid of.
Yeah, talk about a complete player, a guy who could, produce offensively, play shutdown defensively, and also kick your ass. Like it's that perfect package of hockey player. It's hard to replicate.
I think for kids who are too young to have seen him play, it's like imagine Brent Seabrook, but like if Brent Seabrook was the Terminator.
Yeah,
right. Like,
if Seabrook and if Brent Seabrook and Duncan Keith combine their powers, you'd probably have Chris Chelios.
That's a good way
They
to
did
put it.
that for a good run and won 3 cups.
Yeah, it worked.
It was nice to have it was nice to have it spread across the ice.
Yeah,
than just one side.
Just one guy.
But hey, that's not to short Keith Kearney or Eric Weinrich or
No,
any of those
not at
guys.
all. Keith Kearney was there. He was on the stage for Chelios' speech and everything.
So was
But
Reed Simpson.
Yeah. Reed Simpson hangs out at the UC a lot. I
he?
think he's still local, and I think he's a scout for, I think it's Montreal. So he's there a lot.
And how cool are the black jerseys? I love that.
Hey, those are coming back.
I had a few more beers and got a little looser with the wallet. That Mitchell Ness black.
They are
jersey
still
would've come with
still
me.
available. Still available if you're going to tonight's game.
I know, but it's like I'm trying to save up my money to bring my girls to our next CHO Blackhawks takeover, which
that's
is March 26th. There's still tickets available for that. 80. I don't know how much it is. It's 80.
The diehard price I think is like 105.
105.
So
okay.
yeah, the tickets are in the 100 level. I believe we're making that available to the public today. It was open exclusively to our diehards right off the bat. I think there's just a few tickets left. So if you're not a diehard and you were hoping that they got to the public, they should be there for you now. Jump on that. It's going to be an awesome time. March 26th, Tuesday night. Again, 100 level seats. Playing the Calgary Flames. Going to have a meetup before the game at Bar TBD, one of my favorite bars in the city. And it's going to be a good time.
Awesome. Well, let's get into our topic today. Caleb Williams.
I hear he's.
Who is that? Never heard of him.
He's pretty good.
He's this guy who plays quarterback for USC.
All right, I'll see you. I'm going to head out of here.
So we've invited Justin Fields fan number 1 over here onto the show to talk about Caleb Williams. We're going to talk a lot about Caleb Williams. We're going to talk a lot about Justin Fields. But, Jake, have you kind of come to terms with the fact that Justin Fields is probably not going to be the quarterback for the Chicago Bears next year?
No, because it's not over until it's over. And I still believe that Fields and the Bears are 23 months away from winning a Super Bowl, and everybody wants to blow it up for this guy, Caleb Williams. And you've got Marvin Harrison Jr. sitting there for the taking, not to mention everything else with the draft capital you get if you trade that number 1 pick. Like what are they doing? Like, just build around this man and this defense, and we're right there. Like, we don't need to worry about 10 years from now. We need to worry about 2 years from now. And next season, too.
So has anything happened over the past week to 2 weeks that has made you think that maybe that's not going to happen and maybe you're going to have to be wearing a number 13 jersey?
Almost everything in this universe around me has been saying that. But today, I dropped my daughter off at school, and I look over, and this 3rd or 4th grader that was walking into the line had a Justin Fields jersey on. The sun was just kind of hitting just right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's a sign. It's still alive. The dream to keep him here is still alive for me. But if it ever happens,
I mean, Kev still has a Trubisky jersey.
Yeah,
in his
that's
closet,
right.
so.
That's right.
I'll probably wear that Trubisky jersey. No, I mean,
You didn't make it a Chase Claypool.
it was a
jersey?
Claypool jersey for a little bit.
Okay.
I will not probably wear that. That duct tape has come off.
Makes sense. But hey, if I have to come around and I have to accept it and it does happen, I will do that. He will be my quarterback and we'll move forward. I'll be disappointed for a while, but eventually, like, I'm a Bears fan more than I'm a Justin Fields fan.
So Caleb made a lot of headlines yesterday. 2 stories about him came out. One in The Athletic by Kalen Collar. The other one in ESPN by Pete Thamel, who I used to work with at Yahoo. And I want to focus on the one from Pete because he actually had quotes from Caleb in there. And I think the lead mentioned Michael Jordan, Walter Payton, deep dish pizza. But he didn't waste any time. I mean, he talked about that he was studying Michael Jordan and Walter Payton. He likes to see what those guys are. His quote was, "I'm 22." Of course, I just completely switched off of this.
He is.
Nice.
He's 22.
He is 22 years old.
I'm 22, so I didn't really get to see those players. As the saying goes, the legends live on. That's my goal of playing football. It's not money. It's not fame. It's to be immortal. So, Mario, I guess my first question for you is, how long do you think he's been watching Walter Payton and Michael Jordan highlights? And was it over or under January 1st, 2024?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to think about some of these younger generation athletes, these guys just getting into, the NFL, NBA, in NHL and whatnot, and to realize like, okay, yeah, he's 22 years old, means he was born in 2002, means he wouldn't have any memories of Michael Jordan playing in the NBA. Obviously, Walter Payton had passed by then, so it's just like you're only going off of, what you've heard,
right?
Maybe highlights you've seen as old YouTube highlights and stuff. So it's different than having like lived through and experienced it. But I think you do have a lot of these guys that appreciate those athletes of the past. And I mean, you think about two guys that embodied like work ethic and desire to play at a championship level and to be one of the best, no matter how old you are. Walter Payton and Michael Jordan are two of those guys that you're like, that those are the kinds of guys that have that mentality that can get you to that place if you can try and match it.
Yeah, I find it interesting because Walter Payton is a running back, Caleb Williams is a quarterback, but I guess if I'm going to the Bears,
there's no Chicago quarterback.
There's actually no one to study in that mold.
It would concern you if he said, "Yeah, I've been watching a lot of Jay Cutler highlights, and it's really inspiring me."
Or
Boo this man.
I've been watching a lot of Justin Fields highlights. Yeah, it's been very inspiring.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I'll say this: he wants to be immortal. I'll just take a playoff victory. That would, let's start there because it's been 13 years.
The bar is so
I
low.
could go for a playoff victory, and then maybe like your team success, and then maybe some sustained success.
Right.
And if you become
so is this
immortal,
a red flag for you?
Great. Red flag? No, because I appreciate that he's thoughtful and that he wanted to say that, and he cares enough to do that. And eventually I may have to support him as my quarterback as a Bears fan, but I do think prior to that, there have been a little bit of red flags about him potentially being more of a me guy than a we guy, and that does concern me. The biggest thing that concerns me about switching from Fields to Caleb Williams is this team and what they've bonded over. It's just like the Bulls in the late 80s with the Pistons. You become great because of the shit you go through together. And when you don't go through shit together and you pop down and then you're a me guy, that shit never works well. It very rarely does. And I think that it's the same reason that the Blackhawks will be great when they win their next cup. And Bedard's went through what he has with a few people that are on the team now and the people that will be coming up, and they'll go through that together the next 3 or 4 years. That personally is how I like things to be done. And I understand. I also am a little
football's
biased.
so different, right? Because like the Blackhawks, they had to get through the Red Wings and learn to win.
Sure.
But they were able to, you could lose Marty Havlat and upgrade substantially with Marian Hossa, and everyone's like, "Hey, this is actually great. We missed you, Marty."
I mean that wasn't universally loved at the time.
At the time, you're right.
But yeah, I mean, hindsight, you say, you make that switch anytime. But yeah, I mean, there is something to be said for a group going through things together, doing it together. That's definitely true. But I feel like in the NFL, especially at the quarterback position, if you are talented enough,
sure,
there are some things that you can overcome as a like, oh, we didn't, this isn't one of our guys, but it's just like, if he's good enough to get you there, like you can overlook some of that because ultimately, winning a Super Bowl, winning a championship. Like it is a group effort, and you're still, especially doing it in Chicago. Like, look how much juice has been squeezed out of the '85 Bears. Like, you get one championship as a Bears team within the 21st century. Like, he cares about greatness. Like, that is one easy way to immortalize yourself in the city for sure.
Real quick, what would it take for him to be considered immortal? How many Super Bowl titles?
In Chicago?
Yeah.
One. One.
You're probably right.
Honestly, with the drought that there has been.
You think that gets him to Peyton and Jordan level?
I mean, time will tell for sure, but I
guess it would have to be. You'd have to win the title because of him. It couldn't be a Jim McMahon situation.
Yeah, like if
no shot against Jim McMahon.
If we're saying 5, 6, 7 years down the line, Bears win the Super Bowl, and they're like the old, they're the stereotypical Bears where they have a star running back and a great defense, and the quarterback just doesn't lose the game. Then Caleb Williams, here's your free drinks, but you're not getting a statue.
It's I have not thought about it like that, like what would define him becoming immortal, and it just shows you what a great opportunity in this town there is for a quarterback of the Bears to win one Super Bowl and you become immortal. So, I mean, that's crazy. But I was thinking more of like, hey, multiple Super Bowls. They're in it every year for 7-8 years, kind of like the best teams are. But I mean, Mario's right. If he wins one Super Bowl, that's it.
Well, I like his initiative. I like his drive. I like our dreams. I like our hopes. I like our optimism. But I agree with you, Jake. Let's get one playoff win just out of the way.
Baby steps first,
Let's get to one playoff game, right? But let's also win it. Hey, Prize Picks is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. It is the easiest and most exciting way to play DFS. It is just you against the numbers. Instead of betting thousands of other players, including pros and sharks, you just pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. I've been playing Prize Picks a lot. It's kind of a fun thing to do. Daily fantasy game. You're going into a night of games. I don't watch a wide variety of the NBA, but I've actually kind of found it's fun to, now I can actually have some skin in the game watching the Bucks, see if Damian Lillard goes over or under this this projection.
The points, rebounds, assists total.
It's fun, right?
I like those ones.
Love the PRAs. Those are fun.
He was back in Portland. I thought all the overs on that were great. So I picked that. Did pretty well. And even with football over, it keeps you in everything. Conference tournaments are here, which means the biggest moments in college basketball are getting closer. And here's the cool thing. They're going to offer opportunities for both men's and women's college basketball.
Sweet.
So,
nice.
Get your Caitlin Clark out there.
Caitlin Clark bets on, for
right.
sure.
Other good teams, too.
Prize Picks even offers injury insurance so that your entries stay in play, even if one of your players gets injured. For football and basketball games, if you have a player who exits in the game in the first half and does not return in the second, that player projection won't count against you, and the rest of your entry stays live. That's really, really cool.
I appreciate that.
Prize Picks is really simple to play. I can make my picks and submit my entry in less than 60 seconds. Go to prizepicks.com/CHGO and use code CHGO for a first deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/CHGO and use code CHGO. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Jake.
Are you guys ready for the most unexpected, unscripted, and unforgettable motorsports experience for families and fans in the world today?
Hell yeah.
Monster Jams return. Monster Jam returns to Chicagoland for an adrenaline-charged weekend at the Allstate Arena from March 1st through the 3rd. That's this weekend. It's the world's best drivers. They're going to show off their crazy skills and all-out racing in fierce head-to-head battles for the event championship. Did you know that it's engineered to perfection? The 12,000-pound Monster Jam trucks push all limits in freestyle, skills, donuts, and racing competitions. I mean, this place is going to be electric, and I think you're going to want to be there.
Cannot wait.
The Arena Series West champion will receive a highly coveted automatic bid to the prestigious Monster Jam World Finals to compete for the title of world champion. So see world-class athletes in action performing the craziest stunts in motorsports. Experience big-time family fun at Monster Jam. unexpected, unscripted, unforgettable. This is Monster Jam. See it live at the Allstate Arena March 1st through the 3rd. That's this weekend, and the link for tickets is in the description.
Yes.
I don't know if you beat Mario.
No. Mario and
I should
Sean,
have Mario read that one.
Sean and Mario have just done another level.
You got Monster Jam. You gotta, bring it.
That's right.
I'm glad we gave you a break though. You could do it tonight.
I'm not doing it tonight. I'm only facilitating the.
You're in
the stuff from the arena.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. It'll be Jay or Greg that'll have to do it, or
Damn.
you could do it.
You're the field tech.
Yeah. We have Nick Foligno on our post game show today.
go.
He'll be calling in from the United Center after the game. Hopefully after a Blackhawks win.
Can we get it just like a Monster Jam voice room? If I say like, did you know that there are 12,000-pound trucks at?
At what? At Monster Jam?
Yeah.
You're trying to get me to do the
I
voice.
am.
Okay, gotcha.
So I noticed that. Oh, sorry.
Monster Jam.
That's it.
Like that?
That's
That's
the
good?
one.
All right,
Yeah.
cool.
Thanks.
Nice.
I feel like Mario could be the guy who also jumps out of the big Monster Jam truck.
I
it's
could
weird.
be.
Yeah.
You never know.
So Sunday is not in the read. Is that like
We were
is that
we were
trademarked
told
by a previous?
we were told not to do that.
Oh.
We were told to.
Think about the edge of a seat.
I have no idea.
It's got to be
Yeah.
copyrighted.
I don't know. It might be, but we were just told it is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, not just Sunday.
Oh,
So,
the entire
Friday,
weekend.
Saturday, and Sunday. There you go.
It's amazing.
This weekend.
I wish you could go out there. I got plans.
I got plans to go to Monster Jam. See me at the
Hey,
Allstate
shout out to
Arena.
AllCity 73. He's got a great comment here. He or she. When this plan backfires, it's gonna be epic.
Oh God. See, that's what
In
keeps me
reference
up
to
at
Caleb
night.
Williams and Justin Fields.
Please. Yeah.
See, I feel like there really is no winning unless the team actually wins. Like,
Yeah.
it's funny how that works. But like, if you say, okay, we're gonna keep Fields, we drafted Marvin Harrison Jr., we drafted a lineman. Take your pick. There's a couple good ones out there, and you say, okay, we invested in Justin. We gave him his extension. He's got some tools, got some weapons, and it doesn't work. Then you're like, oh shit, we missed out on Mahomes, and now we missed out on Caleb Williams or Drake May or whoever. But if you scrap it, you go with Caleb, and Justin Fields goes somewhere else and wins. And Caleb, you have the same kind of mediocrity or less with
Be a
Williams,
fear.
then you're like,
Another
well,
fear.
shit, why didn't we stay with Justin? So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. And the only way to prove that it worked was to actually have success and major success. Like you can't just have this be like a lateral move. Like if you move on and nothing changes, there's nothing you can hang your hat on. Like with Ryan Poles, like whatever decision he is going to make moving forward here, like he's got to be all in. And look, he's going to have his name all over everything. It's very similar with the Blackhawks and with Kyle Davidson. Like Poles' name is going to be all over that move. And if there's failure, then there should be consequences for it. And if there's success, then hey, congrats.
I mean, look, his predecessor. It's a big reason why he's not here anymore, because he didn't pick Mahomes. He picked Trubisky. That was their guy. It didn't work out, and Pace is no longer here. It's Poles. And I know no one really cares what I have to say about this, but maybe there's 3 people that do at home. Well, my 2 kids, my wife half the time maybe. But with me, it's just about the success, like you said. Whether it's Fields or whether it's Caleb, we need the Bears to win. And so whatever happens, like that's what has to happen. Like I'm not going to be rooting for Caleb Williams to not succeed.
Right.
So like it has to be for all the people that are like me on Team Justin. Like we have to go like this.
Right.
All right, let's go. It's all about the Bears and Caleb, and I hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But I'm preparing myself for that to be.
But the thing
reality.
is like the people who are clearly wanting to draft Caleb Williams, and I'm in that camp. I think I've talked myself into that camp. If Caleb Williams doesn't work out, I mean, there's already a civil war going on now. If Caleb Williams bombs, and I mean, this fan base is going to be torn apart forever.
Then we'll all be unhappy. But hey, that's nothing new. I mean,
I mean, if they draft Caleb Williams, Justin Fields goes elsewhere and remains the same, then you're at least like, well, least we didn't miss out on something, like at least you didn't like, choose A or B and then B goes on to succeed. But yeah, I mean, you're just in a spot where you have to pick a course of action, and you gotta own it. So
Yeah.
it does seem like Caleb Williams is becoming more of a inevitability. And I'm with Jake. I think Justin Fields is a very talented quarterback. I think he needed proper protection, offensive line. You saw what he was able to do when you brought in DJ Moore. Yeah. Like, imagine Marvin Harrison and DJ Moore. That'd be nice. That's and C.H. Jones, Cole Kmet. Like, that would be a pretty good, trio of weapons to use. And, Luke Getsy was a disaster. So, like, you have to have a guy that can help, facilitate an offense through the quarterback. And it just doesn't seem like that's the direction they're going to go. So, you're right. Like, whenever this decision comes, whether it's, Fields or Williams, like, you have to just be like, all right, that's the direction this team's going. You can't, nothing else you can do. Otherwise, you're just going to be setting yourself up for frustration. And, if you're sour that they didn't go with Justin Fields, are you going to root against the Bears? Like, that's no fun,
Our guy Skoke says, the thing that gets me is the possibility of having 2 number 1 picks, and we still don't have our franchise star quarterback. It's very disheartening. Agree with that.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
Yeah. The reason I brought up All-City's comment, and kind of why we're talking about this, is the one thing that struck me this week is when the Blackhawks won the number 1 pick, it was a 3-month party up into that Connor Bedard lottery. Yeah. We were doing every day a different, a different post on CHGO Blackhawks saying, okay, it's 37 days, so Connor Bedard becomes a Blackhawk. And with, the Bears owning the number 1 pick and looking like they're going to draft Caleb Williams, who is the number 1 quarterback in the NFL, in the NFL draft. And I mean, that's not really disputed. A couple people are here or there saying Drake may, but people, mostly people.
Dan Orlovsky likes Jaden Daniels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He would take him over Caleb Williams.
So it's like
Dan Orlovsky also ran out of the back of the end zone.
I understand. It's fair.
So we had these 2 situations where it's just like, one, it was just like this amazing, party with Blackhawks fans. Mm-hmm. Hey, we're finally going to get out of the dark ages again. And with the Bears, it's like, it's more kind of like we're just scared / terrified.
Yeah. I think the difference is that, the quarterback position in football is so key, and it's so individual. One really good quarterback can completely flip a franchise, and Chicago has not had a franchise quarterback since any of us were alive. So I think that's the pressure on it. And with the Blackhawks and with Bedard, it was so unquestionable. If you had watched him, in the lead up to the draft and even the year before, like, if you had followed him as a prospect, you were like, this kid is it. Like, he is going to be a success. There was, just to what level. With Williams, it's not universal that it's like, oh, he's going to be a star NFL quarterback. And I think that is
with quarterbacks too, you have to be drafted by the right franchise. So much is dependent on your coaching, that what you put together. But there's also like having Connor Bedard doesn't guarantee that the Blackhawks are going to win a Stanley Cup. Connor McDavid is still not coming anywhere close to winning a Stanley Cup.
That's true. But look at this. In the NBA, they always say that's the one, right? You get the superstar, it's going to make the difference. Why? In large part because there's only 4 other players on that team, out there on the court. In hockey, there's 5 other players out there on the ice, correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And, in baseball, that's why you see generational players like Mike Trout not even, sniff a World Series because there's 8 other players. Yeah, and Shohei
on the
Ohtani.
same team.
Right. But that's why it's not like Caleb Williams. It's a guarantee that he's going to just be this generational talent that leads everyone to success. Because, Kevin, let's talk about it. How many, and I think that's why this situation's different. Connor Bedard was warming up in Canada and looking great and had all these goals and assists, and he's It's perfect. How was Caleb Williams' senior season? Not 1, not 2, not 3, 4 losses in college football. And you want to tell me this guy is the Messiah? Give me a break. Give me a break.
Awesome Dude has a good point. He says the other difference is replacement. We don't need to replace anyone when we drafted Bedard. We need to replace Fields if we grab.
Yeah,
if
it's
debatable.
If this was a situation in which you had, let's say,
Kyle Orton.
If you're going from Kyle Orton, there'd be no question. But if Bedard was coming in and it was just like, oh, they're moving on from 2013 Jonathan Toews so they could have room to bring in Bedard, you'd be losing your mind.
Yes.
But with Bedard, it was just like he was the cornerstone to the next era. Whereas, Fields was kind of looked at as that for the Bears. Like he was like, oh, we got a top end first round quarterback, a guy with a lot of skill. Now let's build around him. Like he's kind of not to the same level, but he kind of came in as like that like Bedard kind of situation where it was like, oh, bringing him in and letting him grow, he's going to make that difference. And now you're 4 years into it now, and it's just like, oh shoot, like it's not necessarily getting you over that hump.
Yeah.
And now you have like another opportunity to quote unquote upgrade or try again. Like it's not so cut and dry that it's just like, oh, this guy's definitely going to be the difference maker.
And you know what? I'm going to say it because I hope it's not the last time I have the opportunity to say it, but Justin Fields could be the most dynamic Bears player since Walter Payton. Why won't we just allow him to be? And listen, this is it. He throws the deep ball with accuracy as well as anyone in the league. He has the ability to scramble and run past defenders better than anyone in the league.
That's true.
Does he process and get the ball out as quickly enough with accuracy in short to mediocre mid-range passes? No, at this point he doesn't. But a contributing factor to that is what Mario said earlier: protection, talent around him, and coaching. And those 3 things have been deficient for the last 3 effing seasons. And guess what? They won't be, because they've been developing, and next year will be great. And next year the Bears will be a playoff team with Justin Fields. And next year, after that, the Bears will win a damn Super Bowl with Justin Fields as quarterback. And we'll all have a parade down this town and in the park and celebrate. So just believe with me and hop on that train. Instead, let's just give it to some 22-year-old kid that lost 4 games in college football last year, everyone.
I mean,
I'm just tired of it.
There's really no right or wrong side to it, though. It's just you for me at least, from a more outsider perspective on the Bears than either of you guys. Like, I can see the logic in going either direction, and you can see the pros and cons of doing either of them. But I think it's just, I don't know. Is there a thought in sports where it's just like anything new and shiny is better than what you already have?
Absolutely,
like,
yeah.
I think there could be some of that going on with the like, oh, we don't know if Caleb Williams could be this franchise changing quarterback. It reminds me of the Family Guy clip: a boat's a boat, but the mystery box could be anything. It could be a boat. Like, so I think you just kind of with Williams, like you either have to really believe in it, or you have to believe in what you have and making a change at offensive coordinator. Like, I don't know. To me, making that change and not seeing if it makes a difference with Fields is, I mean, kind of like it feels like a missed opportunity. And
that in conjunction with having the ability to make sure you have Marvin Harrison Jr. across from DJ Moore, like you were saying earlier, that's the part that drives me crazy. It's not like it's just like, oh, it's this random receiver that may be okay. Like, I would bet as much as I could bet if I was allowed to, again, at home with the wife, that Marvin Harrison Jr. will be an immortal receiver in the NFL. A Hall of Fame caliber receiver. Maybe he ends up being one of the best ever. Like, I can almost guarantee, unless some catastrophic injury happens, that guy will be an All-Pro for about 8 seasons.
Like,
could
you make the argument that he's the overall best player
Absolutely.
in the draft class?
In my mind, he
but
is.
because the NFL is so quarterback driven, that's why we're going to get Drake May second overall.
Yeah, I get that.
Likely.
That's why people want to get Caleb. That's why you want Drake. That's why you want Jade Daniels. That's why there may be 5 quarterbacks taken in the first round. And that's why there's 2 or 3 busts every couple of years, and we just retread this. Like, if they're – imagine this. Go back to the last decade, right? Look how many quarterbacks have been drafted in the first round, and then think about that. How many quarterbacks there'd be playing in the NFL? We'd need like 75 teams to be like playing, but we don't.
Right.
It's because half of them don't work out.
Right.
And that
I don't
is
even come and go so quickly. Like Paxton Lynch, remember the
Oh,
Broncos?
yeah.
Like 23rd overall.
keep going. Drew Luck.
Yeah.
Drew Lock.
Drew
Sorry.
Lock, yeah.
Andrew Luck was a little better until
Drew Lock
is pretty good.
was a Hall of Famer compared to Paxton Lynch. Remember Paxton Lynch said like he played video games too much. He didn't he was gone.
Yeah.
So
Johnny
quickly.
Manziel.
Oh,
I mean,
Johnny
gone.
Manziel's a
talk
special
about a guy who
case.
didn't study tape. Like,
Josh Rosen, Sam
Josh
Darnold.
Rosen, yep.
A shout out to Blackhawks Hockey 98, who's here because of our guy Mario. I guess we're gonna have to get more
Bringing
of that.
in the views.
Yeah. She said just gave you a like too. We appreciate that.
Sweet, appreciate
He or
it.
she, I'm not sure.
They're great.
I just keep
awesome.
assuming gender here on
Yeah.
on YouTube avatars. I don't know why.
Well, if you have a picture of yourself, it helps. I mean, you have a picture of Connor Bedard. I'm pretty sure Blackhawks Hockey 98 is not Connor Bedard, but I can't be 100% positive. But I don't think they are.
You never know.
You never know.
I know it has a better chance of being Connor Bedard than that person on Twitter who actually claims he's Connor Bedard with the blue
well,
check mark.
if verification actually meant something. But Connor Bedard, for those who do or do not know, does not have a Twitter. But he does have his Instagram. That is him. So
Okay.
if you follow the actual Connor Bedard on Instagram, that is him. He barely
Blackhawks Hockey
barely
98 is a
posts
he,
anything.
good sir.
Cool. All right.
All right.
Welcome, guys.
Hey, shout out to Kevin, Sarah, Brian, John, Chad, Daniel, Darnell, Jim, and Clement. They are our newest diehards. We appreciate you jumping on board yesterday and this morning. Our diehard community is growing because being a diehard is pretty much the best deal in sports going around.
That's awesome.
Gets you access to discounts to merch, our events like our Blackhawks takeover. Get you 20% off of that. Get you exclusive content like Mario's rebuild report with Greg Boyson.
Yep.
A whole host of newsletters, including the new White Sox and Cubs ones we just launched this month. Access to the Discord lounge, the CHO Discord lounge, which we're in there interacting with people. There's a lot of good fans. There's not a lot of the vitriol that you see on social media. So go check out allchgo.com/diehard. Join today. It really, 2 years into this, like we are becoming a force. We are adding numbers, and we're marching strong. So join us. Become a diehard today.
Yeah, definitely want to become a part of the CHGO community. Tons of perks. It is well worth it. And if you're a Blackhawks fan and a Bears fan, like you're gonna get so much content, so much access to stuff that is going to just be well worth it. So yeah,
We're adding more value all the time. So.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, the diehard, the overtimes, the diehard discussions in Discord, those two things alone to me, if you're able to hop in there, once a week, or you're able to hop in there multiple times a week,
multiple times a day.
That's multiple times a day if you want. Yeah. Everybody's a little different, but like that value alone to be able to connect with, you all is really cool and unique, and something that adds to what we're doing here on YouTube and what we're doing on all our platforms, and I think it's just something that will continue to grow and spread the word.
Yeah, and it helps support what we do. So.
Yeah, and you build a community within the fans. Like we on 2 of our Blackhawks diehards, Alan and Alex. Over the summer, I think it was Alan traveled to Europe, and Alex is a guy that lives in Portugal. They met up and hung out in Portugal. Like it's just something that like without being diehards and being part of the CHGO community, they would have never become friends and never seen each other. So it's just it's really cool, the community aspect of it. It's awesome.
Absolutely.
We can't guarantee that for everyone, but
Yeah,
we can
not
definitely
everybody,
guarantee that
It's all fun and games until somebody gets murdered. But
no. It can form relationships, no doubt.
Yeah, good times.
I knew that was a joke I shouldn't make, but it was right there. So
Well, yeah.
Hey, speaking of events, CHGO events, like we said, the takeover is on March 26th for the Blackhawks. next event. But if you miss out on tickets to that event, you can still go to the game and use our friends over at Game Time. They are the best site out there to get the best deals on all the tickets to all the events you could ever dream of going to. You shouldn't have to worry when you're buying tickets to your next big event. Game Time is the fast and easy way to get those tickets to sports, music, comedy shows, theater events, anything and everything under the sun that is nearest to you. Or if you want to take a road trip to a game, you can do that too. With their killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seats, and their best price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. Jay and Greg are going to go see Metallica in August. They made that plan without me. That was really cool. So I hopped on Game Time to try and see if I could get tickets myself. And I had never been to a Metallica concert. And what I loved about searching for those tickets, you get to see the stage setup, and you get to see, okay, if I'm in the 300 level compared to, in the corner compared to 200 level or whatever, you can see what the stage would look like from that seat. So for me, as a first-time buyer, first time being able to see them, I want to know where the value is of my seat compared to where the stage is. So Game Time allows you to do that. And with their all-in prices, you're not going to get to check out and think, oh, I spent $100 on a ticket, and then when you get to check out, it's $175. You're going to know exactly how much you're going to pay in fees and all that right up front, so you know exactly what you're getting and make sure you're getting the best deal for your dollar. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code CHGO for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code CHGO. That's C as in Chicago, H as in
Second letter of Chicago.
Chicago, G as in go, and O as in oh my God, I love CHGO. When you do that, you're going to get $20 off of your first purchase. Download Game Time today for last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed.
So the last time I went to Metallica, I didn't invite you. Reason why was because it was 1996 and you were 6 years old.
I wouldn't have been able to go, unfortunately. Yeah.
It's past your curfew.
Well, just a little bit, yeah. Yeah, I don't think my parents would have appreciated me jamming out to Master of Puppets at 6 years old.
That was a fun show.
Cool though.
It would have been cool. Yeah.
That was a fun show.
Playing with other puppets at that time.
Yeah, other puppets and toys. Yeah, definitely.
Only time I saw them, but it was loud. I had great seats. They had like a stage where they came out in the crowd.
Yeah, it's one of those bands that I would love to see.
You get. I mean, it would just blow your socks off. I can't even imagine that. Like how your ears would ring after that concert with those seats from Game Time.
Oh
with
yeah,
all of those people screaming along with you.
Soldier Field for a concert it's an incredible venue. That's for sure.
I saw some clip of it. Young James Hetfield. I don't know, yesterday or the day before.
No,
it was in that thing.
Was that Chelios?
Remember how young he was?
Yeah, I thought it was
in the
someone
Chelios
else.
video. Yeah.
When I first saw the screen, I'm now blanking on who I thought it was, but because of the handlebar mustache, I thought it was someone else, and then I was like, oh, that's James Hetfield.
It was before the Napster, and they kind of became all whiny.
That's true.
Hey, 3 people from here going. I know that. Matt Peck, his brother, and Big Dave, as tentatively as
Is that Soldier Field?
Yeah, they're
And
going.
and Jay and Greg.
Well,
could
of
be
course.
talking
Yeah.
now.
So sorry, 5.
That's now 5.
Yes.
CHGO Metallica outing.
CHGO takeover at the Metallica. Let's get on that. Where's our salesman? Let's go. Come on.
All right, finish this up here. Red Wings and Blackhawks. It's kind of a dying rivalry, or didn't have a lot of juice. It seemed to get a little bit more after this game. Kane scores the game-winning goal.
Yeah.
Octopus on the ice.
Being in that close of proximity to Red Wings fans again kind of got my blood boiling.
Mm-hmm. Detroit sucks.
Yes. But I was actually kind of thinking, what is the fiercest rivalry in Chicago sports right now? I mean, not the
Bears fans against each other.
It probably is, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't think I see anybody else in fandom fighting each other more than right now as people who are in Camp Justin and Camp Williams.
That's a great answer.
Honestly, with the Blackhawks, from my perspective, the Nashville is annoying. I hate St. Louis. I still hate Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have that that fire and passion of everything sucks as much as I've seen from Bears fans on either side. But I mean, it's not that bad, but it is interesting to see for sure.
Yeah, there's virtually no real rivalry, I feel like, in the
Cody
NBA
versus Cubs fans?
in the
That's a
NBA
pretty,
right
or,
now.
Cardinals
fans,
fans?
yeah.
That's a pretty big
that's
one.
something, Yachty. Cody against Yachty. But there's virtually no, rival for Bulls fans, it feels like right now. The way
Hasn't
the
been for
Bulls
the
have
longest
been. Yeah, I know.
time.
But, Cubs, Sox, you have the crosstown
Jerry
thing. It's a
Reinsdorf
thing.
is the
Yeah,
Bulls fans versus the
That's
Reinsdorfs,
it.
White Sox fans versus the Reinsdorfs.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of infighting in this city.
I mean, there's
honestly.
Packers is likely always one, I think.
But I think it's one-sided. I don't think Packers fans care.
I understand.
That's
And you know what? I'd like that to change. And
I would say it's the Packers, but I just don't think I can seriously say that right now.
I think the most hated opponent from a Chicago fan base, I think, would be the Packers.
Absolutely.
But as far as like fiery rivalry, you're right. Like the Packer side of it, it's not.
We
they
lived
don't
through
care.
Blackhawks Canucks. We lived through Blackhawks Red Wings. We lived through Bulls Heat.
Bulls Heat was big.
was
Bulls
probably
Heat was a
really,
good
really
one.
recent.
Yep.
Bulls Pistons was something.
Right.
No doubt.
The Cubs Cardinals had a playoff series, which was
Sure.
huge. Sox Twins hasn't been hot for a while, but I mean that was for a good
Piranhas.
while. The Piranhas.
Piranhas.
Yeah, I can't say that there's one that you can point to and be like that is definitely
Yeah.
the best rivalry. There's hated opponents, that's for sure.
And I think is what you said. Like it's elevated when there's more at stake, and for Chicago sports, unfortunately, that hasn't been the case the last few years. There have been a lot of playoff games, against many opponents to even really get upset about, let alone build a rivalry. You got to have sustained success to build a rivalry.
Could Cubs and Brewers get some heat now with
Cubs Brewers might
counsel
be
and
up
everything?
there. Yeah, Cubs Brewers might be the answer if it's not.
I mean, those
Civil War
are
answer.
two teams that are going to be competing for the Central, and you got counsel.
But
going from one to the
Milwaukee's probably a step down from where they were. So, but I think those.
Yeah,
we've got a takeover up there. We're going to Miller Park.
I did see that.
It's happening.
That'll be a fun one.
I'm in. All right, well, that should do it for this week's of the Chicago Sports Podcast. Appreciate everyone joining. I will not be here next Thursday. I will be on vacation. So
Enjoy.
However you guys want to do this.
Do an hour of silence, and then we'll play the end scene.
An hour of meditation.
As long as you do
Silent
the Prize Picks
meditation.
ad read, we'll be good.
I may build a puzzle if that works.
Sure.
Ooh.
Okay.
Could we do some unboxings?
Yeah, there
Who's
you go.
got some old baseball cards?
I
do.
just pulled
I do.
a Wembenyama rookie card.
Ooh,
It's kind of cool.
that might be worth something.
I got
About
some old
50
hockey
bucks.
cards for you.
That'd be fun.
I have
That's
hockey-
kind
I
of
have-
Greg's thing. He
do it.
was he was the card opening guy for a while.
Was he the one who asked Connor Bedard about his rookie card today?
No, Greg didn't ask that. No, but that was definitely a fun conversation.
How many Connor Bedard rookie cards are there?
I do not know. A lot.
I have one of the first ones when we went to that sports collectors convention. It was like a special edition thing that Upper Deck was doing.
Yeah.
And I got one.
Oh,
it's kind of
nice.
cool.
That's cool.
I don't know if it's not like the main cool ones that are worth a ton.
Yeah.
But it's still cool.
Gotcha.
Maybe worth something 20 years from
I
now.
do miss the days where it was just like, okay, there's one in this set, there's one in this set, and there's one in this
Yeah.
set. You get all three. Now it's just way
You
too
got a
hard.
green, you got an electric blue, you
Refractor.
got yeah, and it's something.
Chrome.
Yeah.
Authentic game used memorabilia.
Yeah.
It's all a thing. NFTs.
Yeah. NFTs, those are hot, right?
So hot right now.
I mean, the NHL just released their own NFT, so it's got to be cool, right? Cool and hip and modern and not dead.
NHL is very cool.
If the NHL
missed
is
it.
on it, they're on the cutting edge, you know.
All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Hit that like button on your way out. Cubs are up next. I think Ryan is back in the building, which is
Yeah,
good.
he's very
so.
tan. It's a little awkward. It's like
Cody-
A-Rod. At the,
Cody's
at
got
the
a good tan
Tim
going
Williams
on,
game
too.
the other day.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks.
See you.
We all silly like the mayor.